What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Last Week in Basketball. This is the Monday show where I help you guys not look like basketball casuals by recapping everything that happened this last week in basketball. This is actually the last episode of the year as well. This is something I tried a couple weeks ago, and it's been performing pretty well, so I'll definitely make sure I do this next year, but it's week 25, man, in the NBA season, and so that's the last week. Quick side tangent, we hit 1,000 subscribers this week. That's awesome. Really appreciate all the love and everything that we've been getting. That's really awesome. This week, we're going to be covering playoffs, play-ins, a lot of content coming through, so make sure you guys subscribe, follow, leave me comments. I want to hear all your thoughts. But anyway, let's get into what happened in the NBA last week. First things first, the Suns signed Isaiah Thomas for the rest of the season. Isaiah Thomas completed his comeback. Obviously an awesome story. If for any of you younger people watching out there, Isaiah Thomas was that dude for a while there when he was with Boston. He's a dude that just bounced around from team to team for a long time, but always found a way to get 20 points a game, and obviously found a home with Boston, coming off the bench originally, and then being a complete menace to my Chicago Bulls in the playoffs, even though he carried every possession. It's whatever. I'm not still salty about it. Fred Hoiberg was right, but it's whatever. But yeah, no, obviously he had some injuries and everything. The Celtics kind of did him dirty at one point, and he's made it back, man. Whether or not we see him in a playoff game is probably pretty slim, but hey, they needed a point guard on the team. He's going to get to play a little bit, and we know that if IT needs to go get some buckets, he can go get some buckets, man. So shout out him. Happy to see him back in the league. All right, next thing on the list, the Torrey Craig dunk attempt. I'm sure you guys have seen this at this point, but I got to show it. My Chicago Bulls, this is just a perfect representation of the season so far. Torrey Craig's like, hey, you know what? We're down 10. Let me do something crazy. And Andre Drummond decides to ride him like a damn pony. Oh my God, let me see it one more time. Nope, gotta go further back. Let me see it. For whatever reason, down like 10 points, trying to go off the backboard, and Drummond he thinks it's for him. I understand. Can we see the picture of Torrey Craig's face right here? This face right here. Like, you can tell he felt someone on him right here. He's like, why is there somebody right behind me right now? He's like, Bojan's not about to block me off the backboard. And nope, it's Big Drake. Kobe, I never saw Kobe White's face. He's confused. If Kobe White's confused, man, like, I don't know. Like, he's baffled at the stupidity he's seeing. That's telling right there. But yeah, this is the Bulls season right here. Not to mention, right afterwards, Andre Drummond like rolled his damn ankle, man. The Bulls are such a fucking joke. I'm not sure I can watch this play-in game this week. Next thing to talk about, the Giannis injury. So yeah, Giannis obviously went down with a non-contact injury. Everybody was really worried. We thought maybe his Achilles went. You weren't able to see the Achilles rupture, so people were pretty quick to be like, no, I don't think it's that bad. Sounds like it's just a calf issue. Hopefully he's back in time for the playoffs and everything. I'm sure he will be. Giannis is an incredible player, but we don't want to speculate too much when it comes to medical stuff. We leave that to the professionals. But obviously, scary stuff for them. The Bucks have just kind of had like a season of hell, right? Like, they fired coaches early in the year. They were like playing well, but like not playing well at the same time. Like, they were winning games, but they weren't playing well. Went and brought Doc Rivers in. Doc Rivers has been yelling at them a bunch. Now Giannis goes down with an injury. But man, this Milwaukee team going into the playoffs, at the end of the day, you've got Giannis, you've got Damian Lillard, you got Chris Middleton, you got a bunch of other really nice players on this team that have won a championship before, and I'm not that worried. Like, I think come playoff time, it's going to be them in Boston, and it's just going to be a hell of a battle, and may the best team win at this point, but let's hope that Giannis is at least healthy for that. All right, time for another fun highlight. Brandon Miller just absolutely crossing up Garrison Matthews, and then, oh, Lord. Oh, why did he do that? Why did he do that to him? All right, cross, runs right into Nick Richards, and oh, who was that? Bruno Fernando, bro? Why? Get out of the way, Bruno. Oh, man, Brandon Miller has had such a quietly good rookie season, man. Like, absolute credit to him. If it wasn't for Wembanyama, we'd be talking about him more, and obviously the Charlotte Hornets are just a complete dumpster fire most of the time. But man, Brandon Miller has been so elite this season. Like, phenomenal rookie season. We clap it up for Brandon Miller. Great way to end it. Next topic, Drew Holiday gets a $135 million contract extension. It's Monday. Don't come at me for my grammar and my poor speaking, all right? It's early in the morning. But anyway, he's 33 years old and he just got a 4-year contract extension. There's only been like a couple players ever to like get that or something. It's like Kevin Durant, LeBron, I want to say like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and like maybe someone else. So absolutely crazy. Drew Holiday though, like such an impact player. We all know that he's like the ultimate, like might not appear on the stat sheet, but we all know that he's just out there pestering everybody, because whenever you interview people, they're like, who's the hardest guy to like play against? And they're like, Drew Holiday is just such a menace and I can't get around him, and it's so annoying. So shout out Drew Holiday, man. Like the Celtics are absolutely clicking. He's fit right in with them. He plays whatever role he needs to with them, whether it's go get a bunch of buckets, go be an elite defender. Like it's so impressive. And thinking back to when I was a kid and Drew Holiday first came into the league and he was like a young all-star point guard and everything, it's so crazy to see where he is now, because he took a step away from the NBA for a while for like those personal reasons with his family and everything. He had to take care of them and their health issues. So man, shout out Drew Holiday, man. It's well deserved. All right, two kind of closing notes here to close out the regular season. The first one, we had a phenomenal regular season this year. I hope that we like appreciate how good of a basketball season this was. I noted a couple things here. One, how competitive it was. We've never seen this instance where like so many like we didn't know like what the playoff matchups were going to be going into this thing. Like it really was down to like the last day that we found out like where everybody was going to be seated. And that's awesome. Like these teams were really competitive the whole time. It was just so exciting, right? And I absolutely love that. And then let's talk about the play-in, the in-season tournament. That was a success. I loved the in-season tournament. It was awesome. The NBA implemented another new thing that was a lot of fun. I feel like it maybe happened like a little too early in the season. Like it feels like it was so long ago already, but like that was so fun. We've got new teams playing well, like the Timberwolves and Thunder are like on top now, and that's super exciting, right? We've got new young teams and young players that are like really stepping up and like becoming faces in the NBA right now, with some of our older guys like LeBron, Curry, and Durant are starting, even though they're not playing, like it's starting to go into the twilight years of their career, right? It's like it gives us hope. Let's talk about some good refereeing. For those of you that haven't been paying attention, since like the All-Star break, the NBA admits that they've basically told the refs like, hey, we got to switch up how we're calling things. Like, this is too much baby shit, essentially. Like, we need to start calling this stuff for real and just actually, like, playing good quality playoff-style basketball. And what I mean by that is, like, in the playoffs, we all know it gets a lot more physical. They let a lot more things go. They've basically been calling games as if they're the playoffs since the All-Star break, and it's been awesome. I love watching that. You're not just seeing guys jump into people all the time and getting fouls called and stuff like that. It's not so ticky-tacky. They're letting the guys play, and it's a much better product. I hope that they can keep going with that. And I just wanted to highlight 3 players in particular here on my little note. Ant, Zion, and Wemby this year. Like Ant, I made the prediction coming into this season that whoever is like that dude that stands out on Team USA basically comes back and just dominates the NBA. And Ant was the obvious guy that was going to become the leader on that team, and he really just came in and took the league by storm this year. He was absolutely phenomenal. I live in Minneapolis. I'm not a Timberwolves fan per se, but I'm an Ant fan just because, like, man, all the things I got to see him do this year were crazy. Absolutely nuts. And then Zion playing like he played like what 60-something, 70-something games, or maybe more, right? I feel like he only missed like 3 or 4 games or something. Like, so another number 1 pick that we're just seeing like really work out, like showing the potential that he had all this time, right? He's been absolutely dominant. And then Wembanyama, this was the season of Wembanyama, even though they weren't like winning games. The league is in good hands with this guy, man. I told everybody I think he's the greatest prospect I've ever seen, and I meant that so much, and he still exceeded my expectations. Like, the things he can do already are incredible. It's like, I feel like we're already numb to it. Like, we see him do this crazy stuff, and we're just kind of like, yeah, that happened, or whatever. Like, I saw him as 7'4" do like a sham god the other day, and then finish with like a left-hand scoop layup. I'm like, what the hell? I've never even seen that before. Yet, like, it's probably like one of like 9 or 10 things I saw him do this month where I just went, I've never seen that before. So shout out Wembanyama, man. Absolutely nuts. Alrighty, and then the players I enjoyed watching this week. This is basically where I picked 3 people that I just think deserve a little extra credit, and I'll throw in a couple other guys that I just want to highlight. Shout out Jalen Brunson, again, who's averaging like something like 40 points, or what is it this week? 38.5 points a game this week. He's averaging like 40 points basically like the last like 4 weeks. absolutely crazy. All the best players in the NBA now are like these little or not little, but like shifty, maybe not as athletic guys, but just fundamentally sound things. That shows you, kids. It's not about your athleticism or anything. You got to learn the game. Learn the game. And then the other one I want to shout is Jake LaRavia, one of the younger dudes for the Grizzlies that's getting a little bit of burn now. Really been playing well for them as of late, so shout out LaRavia. First guy we want to highlight, though, is Peyton Pritchard. Obviously, the Celtics were resting a bunch of people this last week because they did their work early on in the season, and so some other guys got to play. And Peyton Pritchard, I feel like, is a very underappreciated guy. He got a nice contract extension going into this season. He's a cold player, man. Like, he's tough. He can really handle, pass. Like, he's aggressive as all hell. He's mean, like, strong. I really love watching Peyton Pritchard play, and it's cool to see, like, some of these NBA dudes that are like, he's like the 8th man in their rotation a lot of times, and he can just come in and go get you like upper 30s points if you give him the minutes to do so. That's how good all these dudes are, man. There's just, it's so crazy. You're comparing the 99th percentile to the 99.9 percentile when you're looking at NBA players in terms of just like their basketball skill, right? But no, Peyton Pritchard's a phenomenal player. Really happy to see that he's playing well. Hopefully it translates into the playoffs, man, because like, man, you would think the Celtics are going to do it, but you never know. You just never know, especially when the Miami Heat lurk at all times. Next guy to talk about, DeMar DeRozan from my Bulls. Just been playing absolutely out of his mind this week. Where is DeMar? 34.3 points per game this week. DeMar has kind of just accepted that he's like, well, I don't know where we're going this season. It's probably not far, but I got to go get my buckets, man. And even at his age, still just going, getting to his spots, getting tough buckets. And it's honestly fun to watch. It's pretty basketball at the end of the day because he's just so skilled. And I don't know if he'll be back on the Bulls next year, but appreciate DeMar for the time that he's given us and everything because, man, he's been a true pro. He's been an absolute bucket getter. Love his game. For his sake, I hope he ends up somewhere else. But if he's just wanting a payday, then hell, come back to Chicago. We're not going anywhere anyway. Final one of my favorite players in the NBA, GG Jackson. Somebody that I told people going into this draft, I'm like, I would take GG Jackson with a top 10 pick. And people are like, who is GG Jackson? I'm like, oh, he's this kid from South Carolina. I love his game. He's kind of a power forward, but I could see him playing a small forward. And he's just had so many instances this year where he's just like come in and really done his thing and shown all the skills he had. He's super athletic. He can handle a little bit. He can shoot. Like, he can play defense. And he's the youngest player in the NBA. It's amazing. And it's been so awesome to see people start to recognize his game and everything. He had a career high last night. He had like 44 points. So shout out GG Jackson, man. It's been absolutely electric to watch him play this year. And the Grizzlies are going to be interesting next year, man. Like, once they get all their guys back, they've got a couple high draft picks. Like, they figured out that GG Jackson and Vince Williams Jr. are good players for them. Like, Memphis, man. Memphis is going to be tough next year. But anyway, that was last week in basketball. Like I said, we're going to be covering the playoffs very extensively this week. You're going to see, well, I guess pre-game analysis or whatever, or pre-series analysis, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. And then we'll do some post-game reactions, talking about things or whatever. So a lot of content going to be coming out to you guys these next couple weeks and everything. Thank you again for 1,000 subscribers. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, because a lot of stuff's going to be coming out. And then also give me some comments and stuff. Like, I love the comments. I respond to every single comment. I've done it in my 7 months of being on YouTube now. I've responded to every single one. So leave me a comment. I want to talk to you about stuff. Even if we disagree, I want to hear your opinions. So just drop them. I don't care. If you think my forehead's crazy, tell me my forehead's crazy. That's kind of hilarious. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys as always. I'm going to go to the chiropractor now. But as always, we'll see you guys later.